Well, hello darlings, and welcome to a place that truly redefines the meaning of winter. I'm standing in Yakutsk, a city in the far east of Russia, in the heart of Siberia. Now, you might think you've experienced cold before. Perhaps a chilly morning in London, or a snowy day in the countryside. But let me tell you, this is something else entirely. This is the coldest city on Earth. Imagine a place where the temperature regularly plummets to minus 50 degrees Celsius. It's a cold so profound, so absolute, that it feels less like weather and more like a permanent state of being. It's a place where the very air you breathe can freeze. My journey here has been a long one, traveling across the vast, snow-covered landscapes of Russia. And as I stepped off the aeroplane, the cold hit me like a physical force. It wasn't just a sensation, it was a presence. It takes your breath away, quite literally, and stings your cheeks with invisible needles. The locals, wrapped in magnificent furs, move with a purpose and an understanding of this environment that is simply awe-inspiring. They call this region the Sakha Republic, and its people have mastered the art of living in a world of ice. It's a place of extremes, but also of incredible warmth and resilience. Here, winter isn't just a season, it's a 9-month-long epic. The city is built on permafrost, a layer of permanently frozen ground that poses unique challenges for everything from construction to daily life. Yet, life doesn't just endure here, it thrives. There's a vibrant culture, a bustling city, and a spirit that seems to burn all the brighter against the stark white backdrop of the endless winter. It's a world away from everything I've ever known, and I simply cannot wait to explore it with you. There are so many stories to uncover in this kingdom of cold, so many secrets hidden beneath the snow. So, wrap up warm, my dears, pour yourself a hot cup of tea, and join me on this extraordinary adventure. We are going to discover what life is really like in the coldest city on the planet. We'll meet the people, see the sights, and perhaps even try a few little experiments to understand this incredible cold. It's going to be a journey into a fairy tale world of ice and snow, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and survival itself is a form of art. Let's step out into the frost together, shall we? My arrival at Yakutsk airport was, in a word, bracing. As the aeroplane doors opened, a wave of air so cold it felt solid washed over us. My eyelashes began to feel heavy and crisp almost immediately, as if they were turning into tiny icicles. Looking out of the window, the world was a blur of white, not just from snow, but from a thick, low-lying fog that the locals call ice fog. It happens when the air is so cold that water vapor from cars, buildings, and even people's breath freezes instantly, creating a dense, shimmering mist that hangs over everything. It's both beautiful and slightly eerie, like stepping into another dimension. The journey from the airport into the city center was a surreal experience. The taxi driver, a cheerful man named Dmitry, seemed completely unfazed by the conditions. The car's windows were covered in intricate, feathery patterns of frost, like a Jack Frost masterpiece, leaving only a small, heated patch on the windscreen for him to see through. As we drove, the city emerged slowly from the fog. We passed enormous statues, including a magnificent mammoth, a nod to the prehistoric creatures whose remains are often found preserved in the permafrost. Everything seemed muted and quiet, softened by the snow and the enveloping mist. You noticed the small details first. The steam billowing from exhaust pipes, creating its own little clouds that linger in the still air. The way people walk, briskly, with purpose, their faces often covered by scarves, leaving only their eyes visible. The buildings too are different. Many of them are raised up on stilts, great concrete legs that anchor them deep into the frozen ground. This is to stop the heat from the building melting the permafrost below, which would cause the structure to sink and collapse. It's a constant battle against the ice, a clever piece of engineering that allows a city to exist here at all. Everywhere you look, there are signs of adaptation to this extreme climate. The sound of the city is different too. It's muffled by the snow, creating a strange and peaceful silence that is only broken by the crunch of tires on the compacted snow or the distant hum of a power plant working overtime. It feels like the world is holding its breath. My first impression wasn't one of hardship, but of a strange frozen beauty. It was a city living in a delicate truce with the elements, a place where nature is undeniably in charge, and humanity has learned to respectfully coexist. To truly understand the cold here, you have to see it in action. Words like minus 50 are just numbers until you witness their power. So, my new friends and I decided to conduct a few simple experiments. First, we took a pot of boiling water outside. I held it up and with a dramatic flick of the wrist, I threw the water into the air. In an instant, it didn't fall as water. It exploded into a cloud of ice crystals, a whoosh of white powder that shimmered in the pale sunlight before gently drifting down like snow. It's a phenomenon called the Mpemba effect, and it was absolutely magical to see. Next on our list was a classic breakfast item, a pot of instant noodles. We poured hot water over them and gave them a quick stir. Then, we simply left the fork standing upright in the pot and waited. It didn't take long. Within a couple of minutes, the noodles and the water had frozen solid. The fork was held fast, suspended in a block of icy pasta, looking like a bizarre modern art installation. It was a stark reminder that you wouldn't want to linger over your lunch outside. The cold is relentless and works incredibly fast, turning something hot and fluid into a solid, frozen mass in the blink of an eye. For our third trick, we brought out a banana. Now, you might think of a banana as a soft, squishy fruit, not here. After just 10 minutes outside, our banana was as hard as a rock. We took it over to a wooden post and, using the banana like a hammer, we banged the nail into the wood. It was astonishing. The banana didn't mash or break apart. It acted just like a tool. It shows how the cold transforms everything, changing the properties of everyday objects in the most unexpected ways. It's a bit of fun, of course, but it's also a powerful demonstration of the extreme environment. Our final experiment involved a wet t-shirt. We dunked it in warm water, wrung it out, and then held it up in the biting air. It started to stiffen almost immediately. We held it out flat, and within a minute or two, it was completely rigid, frozen into a solid sheet. You could have snapped it in half like a piece of brittle plastic. These simple, almost childlike experiments brought the reality of the Yakutsk winter home to me more than any thermometer ever could. It's a world where the rules of physics seem to bend, and the cold performs its own brand of startling magic every single day. Living in such a formidable climate requires a whole different set of rules, and the people of Yakutsk are masters of adaptation. It all starts with what you wear. Layering is not just a fashion choice, it's a survival technique. You start with thermal underwear, then add several layers of wool or fleece, and top it all off with a magnificent fur coat, or shuba. Furs like reindeer, Arctic fox, or mink are not a luxury here. They are an absolute necessity, providing insulation that modern synthetic materials simply cannot match. On your feet, you wear unti, or valenki, traditional boots made from felt or reindeer skin, which keep your toes from freezing. Getting around is another major challenge. Most people don't leave their cars outside overnight. Instead, many have heated garages. If they do have to park on the street, they often leave the engine running for hours, or even all day, to prevent the oil and mechanics from freezing solid. Some cars are even wrapped in special insulated blankets or natashas, which look like little duvets for the bonnet, helping to trap the engine's heat. You see these car awnings everywhere, a unique and practical solution to a very cold problem. Bicycles, as you can imagine, are a rare sight in winter. They simply wouldn't function. The city's infrastructure is also ingeniously designed to withstand the cold. A wonderful innovation is the heated bus stop. These are small, enclosed glass cabins with benches and heaters inside, allowing people to wait for their bus in relative warmth and comfort. It's a small touch, but it makes a huge difference when you might otherwise be standing in minus 50 degrees temperatures. As I mentioned, the buildings are constructed on deep concrete piles to avoid melting the permafrost. All the utility pipes for water, heating and gas are run above ground, encased in thick insulation, creating a web of covered arteries that keep the city alive. Even the simple act of breathing requires a certain technique. You learn not to take deep gulps of the freezing air, as it can damage your lungs. Instead, people breathe through their scarves, which helps to warm the air slightly before it enters their bodies. Children are taught from a young age not to touch any metal surfaces with their bare skin, as it would freeze to it instantly. It's a life filled with constant awareness and respect for the power of the cold. It's a testament to human ingenuity and the incredible ability to make a comfortable home in the most inhospitable of places. You might imagine that a city in the grip of such intense cold would be deserted, with everyone huddled indoors. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Life in Yakutsk carries on with remarkable normality. People go to work, children go to school, though you know schools close if it drops below minus 50 degrees, and the city buzzes with activity. I took a stroll through the city center and was honestly amazed by the sense of energy. Delivery drivers rushed packages to their destinations, their breath pluming behind them like steam trains. Construction workers, clad in heavy-duty gear, continued their work on new buildings. One of the most fascinating places to visit is the local outdoor market. It's a scene that really defies belief. In a place so cold that metal becomes brittle, the market is thriving. The reason is simple. The outdoors acts as a giant, natural freezer. There's no need for refrigerated counters here. Fish, meat, and berries are all sold frozen solid, stacked in great piles like bricks. The fish, mostly local varieties like cheer and omul, are stood upright in boxes, frozen in the position they were caught. It's an incredible sight, a sea of frozen tails pointing to the sky. The vendors themselves are the true heroes of the market. They stand outside for hours on end, wrapped in so many layers of fur, and felt that they look like magnificent, friendly bears. They chat with customers, weigh out frozen chunks of reindeer meat, and offer tastes of frozen cranberries. Their resilience is honestly astonishing. They sip hot tea from flasks and stamp their feet to keep the circulation going. It's a social hub as much as a place to shop, a cornerstone of the community where people catch up on news while buying their groceries for the week. Even in this frozen landscape, the rhythm of daily life continues. You see mothers pushing prams, which are like small insulated pods to protect the baby from the cold. You see young people meeting for coffee, their faces flushed from the frost as they dash from one warm building to another. The city feels incredibly alive, its heartbeat steady and strong beneath the thick blanket of snow. It proves that human beings are not defined by their environment, but by how they rise to meet its challenges. Life doesn't stop because of the cold. It simply adapts and finds a new way to flourish. Living in Yakutsk means embracing a life full of unique habits and charming quirks born from necessity. The car culture, for instance, is fascinating. I've already mentioned the car blankets, but there's more. Many drivers install a second set of windows, creating a double glazing effect to prevent the interior from frosting over completely. This is essential for visibility. When you see a car driving down the road, enveloped in its own personal cloud of exhaust fumes, it looks like a creature from a fantasy film. The relationship between a person and their car is vital here. It's a lifeline, a warm metal shell against the unforgiving cold. The fashion is another wonderful aspect of life here. The fur coats, or shubas, are not just practical. They are beautiful and a source of pride. They come in all styles and types of fur, from the humble rabbit to the luxurious sable. Seeing the people of Yakutsk in their winter finery is like watching a fashion show where glamour and survival go hand in hand. And then there are the boots, the anti. These traditional boots, often decorated with intricate beading and patterns, are made from the fur of reindeer legs, with the hair facing outwards. They are incredibly warm and a perfect example of how indigenous knowledge provides the best solutions. There are interesting cultural tidbits you pick up too. For example, the insulated car covers are affectionately nicknamed Natasha. No one seems to know exactly why, but it's a charming name for such a crucial piece of equipment. You also learn about the local beliefs and traditions that are deeply connected to nature and the seasons. The people of the Sakha Republic have a profound respect for the world around them, understanding its power and its beauty. This respect is woven into their folklore, their art, and their everyday interactions with the environment. Another fact that boggles the mind is that Yakutsk has a summer. It's short, but it can be surprisingly hot, with temperatures sometimes reaching over 30 degrees Celsius. This creates a colossal temperature range of over 100 degrees Celsius throughout the year, one of the greatest in the world. This swing from extreme cold to pleasant heat brings its own challenges, as the top layer of the permafrost thaws, turning the ground soft and marshy. It's a city of two faces, the white silent kingdom of winter, and the green buzzing world of a brief but glorious summer. To get a true sense of Yakutsk, you must explore its surroundings. One of my first stops was an observation deck that offers a panoramic view of the city. From up high, you can really appreciate the scale of the place and its relationship with the vast frozen landscape. The city lies on the western bank of the mighty Lena River, which in winter is a solid highway of ice, several feet thick. From the viewpoint, you can see the blanket of ice fog clinging to the city, with the taller buildings and power station chimneys poking through. It's a breathtaking sight, a testament to human ambition in the middle of nowhere. Not far from the city, I had the incredible privilege of visiting a reindeer herder. Reindeer are central to the culture and survival of the indigenous Evenk and Sakha people. These gentle, resilient animals provide transport, food, and clothing. I met a herder who lived in a traditional tent, and he showed me his herd. Seeing these beautiful creatures with their frosty antlers, their breath steaming in the cold air, was a moment of pure magic. They are perfectly adapted to this climate, their hollow hairs providing excellent insulation. It was a humbling glimpse into a way of life that has existed in harmony with this land for centuries. To delve deeper into the history and culture, I visited the Uskut Ethnographic Complex. It's a wonderful open-air museum that showcases the traditional wooden architecture and lifestyle of the Yakutian people from centuries past. There are old forts, traditional dwellings called balagans, and chapels, all built with incredible craftsmanship from timber. Walking through this silent, snow-covered village felt like stepping back in time. It shows how the ancestors of modern Yakutians lived, using their ingenuity to create warm and safe homes against the brutal cold, long before the days of central heating and concrete stilts. Another historical gem is the so-called Old Town in the city center. It's a small district of reconstructed 19th century wooden buildings, which gives you a feel for what Yakutsk looked like in the time of the Tsars. With their ornate wooden carvings and frosted windows, these buildings are incredibly picturesque, especially under a blanket of fresh snow. Exploring these places, the vast viewpoint, the timeless world of the reindeer herders, and the historical complexes helps to piece together the rich tapestry of Yakutsk, a city with a deep connection to its past and a firm foothold in the modern world. You can learn so much about a culture through its food, and in Yakutsk, the cuisine is shaped entirely by the climate. The most famous local delicacy is stroganina. This isn't a cooked dish, it's a plate of raw, paper-thin shavings of frozen fish. The fish, usually a fatty, local whitefish like chir or nelma, is caught and flash-frozen instantly. To prepare it, the frozen fish is held vertically and shaved with a very sharp knife. The delicate frozen curls are then dipped in a simple mixture of salt and pepper. The sensation is extraordinary. The frozen slivers melt on your tongue, releasing a fresh, clean flavor. It's utterly delicious and uniquely Yakutian. The diet here is traditionally rich in protein and fat, which is essential for providing the energy needed to stay warm in such extreme cold. Reindeer meat and horse meat are very popular. I tried a hearty soup made from reindeer, which was incredibly warming and flavorful. Another local speciality is horse meat, often served as cold cuts or in rich stews. They also make a type of blood sausage from horse blood, which is considered a great delicacy. While it might sound unusual to some, it's all part of a nose-to-tail philosophy where nothing is wasted, a principle born from a deep respect for the animals that sustain them. Berries are also a vital part of the diet. The short summer yields a harvest of delicious wild berries like lingonberries, cranberries, and blueberries. These are picked in great quantities and frozen for the winter, providing a crucial source of vitamins. They are used to make mors, a refreshing berry drink, as well as jams and desserts. I had a wonderful dessert of frozen cranberries mixed with whipped cream and sugar. The contrast of the sweet cream and the sharp, icy burst of the berries was simply divine. It was like a taste of the brief, vibrant summer in the depths of winter. Food is also a way of bringing people together. I was invited into a local family's home for a meal, and the warmth of their hospitality was the perfect antidote to the cold outside. The table was laden with dishes, stroganina, salads made with preserved vegetables, hearty meat pies, and of course, plenty of vodka to keep the spirits high and the blood flowing. Sharing a meal here is a cherished ritual, a way of reinforcing community bonds and celebrating life, no matter how cold it gets. The food of Yakutia is a true reflection of the land and its people, robust, resourceful, and surprisingly delicate. As my time in Yakutsk comes to an end, I am left with a profound sense of admiration. This is a city of superlatives. Not only is it the coldest city on earth, but it's also near Oymyakon, a village a couple of days' drive away that holds the record for the coldest permanently inhabited place, with temperatures once dropping to a mind-numbing -71.2 degrees Celsius. The sheer scale of the cold is hard to comprehend. Yet, what I will remember most is not the temperature on the thermometer, but the warmth and resilience of the human spirit that I found here. Life is not just possible, it is joyful and full. The people of Yakutsk have a special relationship with the cold. They don't fight it, they respect it, and have learned to live in harmony with it. They have turned what could be a crippling disadvantage into a unique way of life. From the frozen fish at the market to the houses built on stilts, every aspect of their world is a masterclass in adaptation. They find beauty in the frost patterns on their windows and in the shimmering ice fog. They celebrate the winter with festivals and find community in shared experiences, knowing that they are all in this together, surviving and thriving in a land of extremes. There is a quiet strength and a dry sense of humor among the people here. When I asked one man what he does in summer, he smiled and said, "We enjoy the 2 weeks of it." They are proud of their city and their heritage, and rightly so. They are living proof that the human capacity for ingenuity and endurance is almost limitless. They have built a modern, vibrant city in a place that much of the world would consider uninhabitable. This isn't a bleak, desolate outpost. It's a home, filled with families, art, music, and laughter. So, while Yakutsk may be the kingdom of cold, it is ruled by a warmth that no frost can ever extinguish. It's the warmth of community, of tradition, and of an unbreakable spirit. It's a place that gets under your skin, not just from the cold, but from its unique, frozen beauty, and the incredible people who call it home. It has shown me that even in the harshest of environments, life can be rich, full, and wonderful. And for that, darlings, I will always be grateful. Thank you, Yakutsk, for a truly unforgettable adventure.